What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your daily astrology horoscope for Monday, May 1st, 2023. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, fixed air moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. Hope you're all doing outstanding. Hope you had a great weekend in good superstition fashion. Don't forget to say rabbit, rabbit when you wake up. Why not start off Pluto retrograde, because it stations today, with some good luck and some Mercury Cazimi. And that Mercury is strong, and I'll show you why. But I hope everybody's doing well. It is that Kazemi day. It's happening at 11 degrees of Taurus. This is with, of course, the Sun and Mercury conjunct, right? But it's a special one because Mercury's retrograde, meaning that it's passing the Earth in transit. So it's in between the Sun and the Earth. This is where our soul, God, if you will, comes through and burns a message in this energy of Taurus, where we don't get a solar eclipse this year. We did get one last year, but we don't this year. That was in Aries. So now we're getting the message of our values, our capacities, our creative abilities, what we want out of life, how we get it, what takes time and effort, but what we're nurturing and growing at the very same time. This is about comfort. This is about the succulent aspects of life. Of course, that's the physical aspect. Of course, it can bring up money too in Taurus. But I think on the more spiritual, deeper level, this is really about your self-worth and your value. And how do you love yourself? What's your relationship like with yourself? Especially with the moon in Virgo, we could be picking ourselves apart in some ways, or just every little thing. I mean, I know I got plenty of cleaning done. Clean my office, clean some other rooms in the house. I was dusting up in here. Virgo moon got me cleaning. So I do think, especially with that moon in Virgo disposited by Mercury in a Cazimi, Venus also disposited by Mercury in a Cazimi, and the North Node in Taurus, and the moon square Mercury. I mean Venus. There's a heavy, heavy, heavy influence on understanding our values. And I do believe that this moon in Virgo does give us the positivity here of wanting to see what the truth is. However, it will oppose Neptune. So we got to find that fine line here between like our ideals, our beliefs, our visions, fantasies in life, and the cold hard facts. And I do think that we get the information we're looking for in terms of how we find the capacity to pull through events, to keep going, to know our worth and our value for situations that we do ultimately value and have a lot of worth, invested into. We're coming up on a lunar eclipse in Scorpio. Like, trust me, like investments and things that we've been putting so much of our desire in are going to start to change. And we're going to have this release effect on Cinco de Mayo, May 5th. Now, with Pluto stationing, which it did station direct at about 10:05-ish a.m. on the west coast of the United States, we pretty much get a full day here. On the East Coast, about, half a day, if you will, with Pluto stationed direct. So this is also turning these desires, these passions inward. And I think that that's the most important part about a Pluto retrograde is instead of us going forward with these desires, going forward with this intensity for life, this is a time where we get to kind of take a step back. It's 6 months, and these 6 months are about really, I think, getting in tune with the inner desire that I think we can only know by knowing what we want, who we are, how we, can relate and love ourselves, how we can clean things up, how we can keep things moving, stay persistent. And I think today's a good test of like, there's a message, there's a truth coming in that is so important for you to inwardly understand what that is. And especially too with Venus starting to square Neptune at the same token. It's only 3 degrees away. So there's a little bit of this T-square action to Venus, which disposits all this energy in Taurus. So it's a big deal here in Gemini. That I think we're getting so much internal fact that it can almost feel like with Neptune in the mix that the truth is stranger than fiction. And it so much is like that in reality, right? So we're having to kind of understand that certainty doesn't really exist right now. We have to be in this mutable place, even though we can have these dreams and desires, or even an inner value that wants something right now, that we're starting to see the black and white internally about situations on if they're going into a future, if they're connected here, especially with Pluto and Aquarius for the first time in our lives. Like, this is a big, like, inward look at your capacity to go into your future and to see the truth in the black and white about situations. But it's hard because I feel like we're at a juxtaposition with the day, and starting the day this way, and this Pluto retrograde this way, and in between eclipses, that it can be so easy to over romanticize situations in our life and not wanting to see the facts that are being clearly represented in our lives. They could be clearly represented in our mind, in our emotions. I mean, this is a full-on, like, mind, body, soul kind of, like, here's the fact and the truth. It's right here in front of you. But this is where I think you have to be able to still have a vision, still see into a future, but understand that, like, there's certain things that have to be done before we maybe get to that. So we're having to be very mutable, change things up, continuously kind of put in an effort here, right? While simultaneously releasing where effort has no return on investment, if you will. Because I do think that that's a big part of this, is like a lot of our capacity to manifest, is it yielding return or not? And we have to be honest about that. So honesty plays the best part in our day with ourselves. And I mean, I'll be honest, with this Venus in Gemini and this T-square, like, that's got some trickster energy too when it comes to whether it's right relationships, whether it's your own capacity. Like, we could be tricking ourselves, especially with the square to Neptune. It could be so easy to fall into a false story or fantasy. And even with Jupiter at 26 degrees squaring this Pluto within 3.5 degrees now, so it's getting tighter every day up until May 16th when it comes into Taurus, that our beliefs are getting transformed. And we have to be okay with this, still hold ideals, still have hope, but be realistic. And I think that that's where we can find a lot of beauty in this message that we're getting, and this understanding about how to rewire different situations and use our mutability to be adaptable, to be creative still, to still be imaginative, and to see into a future, but to be straight up real and honest, and not play tricks on ourselves, and not, get played or swindled by somebody else who's trying to maybe have you play their game. That's another part of this too. But I do think this moon in Virgo is in many ways a saving grace, as it does finish off the day with a trine to Pluto as it enters Libra, which will be late tonight. Midnight, most will be asleep, if you will. But the balance comes through the deep truth of everything and its position in life, and is it pure to what you really as a soul understand is part of what you want, and that you're capable and have the capacity and the confidence to do it even through change and having to be adaptable. Because that's the deep thing, is like something that we so deeply desire could halt, and that can get us down and feel like, well, I'm not meant for anything. I wanted this so bad. I have so much value invested in this. But to know that the adaptability to still be curious, to still ask questions about what else is out there, this is only a moment of getting you more internally aligned with deeper desires that are truly of the frequency and the destiny that you're meant to be on. So it's a hard time, because I think that our mind can be a little stubborn right now, but part of that's a good thing, because it's kind of keeping us in line with reality, because reality is actually giving the answers right now and the truths. It's our fantasies and our delusions, if you will, that are straying us, and it's going to be exterior things that are straying us from what a core soul value is. So I think that's the big thing to pay attention to today. What are your core soul values? Do you understand them? Do you have the capacity? Do you feel good? Do these make your body feel good? Do they make your emotions feel good? Like, are you ready to put effort in? Or are you not, but you still have the vision? That's okay too, but I think we're also at a place with this Earth here, with this Virgo and this Taurus and this Cazimian Taurus, and so much hitting Venus, that we have to really be able to realistically understand situations, to make them progress forward, to get to the dream, to see what the deeper desire deep within truly is. So I feel like that got kind of deep, but that's where I feel like we're at today. It's a big day in the astrology. Cazimi with a Pluto retrograde station. Moon squaring the ruler of the North Node, Venus. Venus starting to square Neptune, Moon opposite Neptune. So much of this is about this, like, honestly, it's like Taurus and Gemini energy, even though, yes, there's the Moon in Virgo and there's other energy going on, but I think the focal point is on our mind being able to really switch gears and not be so stubborn, but to see there's other angles of creation available to us. So it's a very, we got to get our mind and our soul like in really solid alignment, and we'll be solid as a rock for anything that the universe could throw at us. Or we keep playing tricks on ourselves and we spin ourselves into a delusional, breakdown, which can have its positive effects in the long run too. So I'm not going to sit here and say that's like a no-go, but it's a good day to like catch yourself when it comes to certain thoughts, I would say. And be like, is this coming from deep within my soul, or is this coming from somewhere else? So a lot of it too is even with Pluto in Aquarius, and even Gemini having like electronic, representation too, is we are as like a system, as a human, system here, reprogramming. And that means that we have to, first of all, be aware enough to hit the update button, because not a lot of people like to hit the update button, because we'll never update if we don't come to like the aha and the truth and the black and whiteness that is right in front of our face that says it's time for that system update. So we're ready to update that mind to core soul value to get to the future and the destiny. Hope that's helpful. So I try my best to shuffle these cards real good so we don't get all reversals. But hey, if we're meant to get all reversals, then so it is. Oh no. Missed. Gotta do it one more time. Alright. Two of Cups on the bottom. Now I can show you the bottom. I like that Two of Cups. Queen of Swords. It's a good time for actually straight up like seeing clearly. No BS. No BS mentally, right? Like to see above certain situations, to actually look down and be objective on situations in our life, not in a phantasmic way, but using that creative nature, using that, really that intuitive ability to go there, but to still be crystal clear on information today. Super important. The Chariot reversed. Having an issue maybe with this intuitive knowing or this seeing clearly of how to move forward and how to kind of trust that fate's pulling us exactly where we need to go, even if we're leaving something that we thought was safe or comfortable behind. And this could be big or small, but pay attention to what we need to leave. We don't want to be too stubborn and miss the direct, message that is coming through today. And the Four of Pentacles in reverse too. Yeah, we do not want to move. We do not want to There's some aspect in our lives that we are just like, no, mm-mm, not a chance. There's no way I'm going to drop that. And maybe that's because we're realizing that we have put so much effort into a situation that we're just like, how could I possibly give up? It wouldn't make sense. Some things don't make sense right now because we're internally getting a bigger download about what does make sense. And remember, the truth is a little bit stranger than fiction. So that's a hard one too with ourselves because we can think that we're in a fantasy or playing the fiction when really it's the stone cold truth, and it's obvious. But I do hope that that moon in Virgo gets us like just deep into it and like the nope, this is it. This is it. So hopefully that's the case. And as for this Two of Cups, I think that there's really, really good emotion that can be shared right now, but only through the truth. And there's some serious like passion there and connection that we can have. Again, it could be with ourselves, with someone else. That could be maybe the guiding light, or maybe somebody inspires us to free ourselves and to reprogram and to let go and to understand too that like, I almost feel like it's that Two of Cups. I feel like somebody kind of like is the bringer of the information that helps us objectify and see clearly from a notch above, if you will. Wishing you all the best. Happy May 1st. Don't forget to say rabbit, rabbit. I love you all very much, and I will see you mañana. Much love. Peace.